switch gears just a little bit and talk, spend some time here in the next 55 minutes talking about your LinkedIn profiles. And many of you are here on this call because you're curious about how to use LinkedIn in a very intentional way. So hopefully you've already bought into all of the great resources and ways that LinkedIn can help you not only develop as a professional, but many of you may be in job search mode. And so how can you use LinkedIn to tell your story and to work for you? And so I did the same session last night with some students that were getting their master's in sustainability here at Wake Forest, and their professor used the word non-negotiable. So LinkedIn is a platform that is really a non-negotiable, right, in the world of work and the world of business these days. And so if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, or if you're not using LinkedIn, you may be getting left out of some really important places and spaces that you need to be a part of to further and elevate your career. So my name is Sharon Vogler, and as of last week, last Monday, I've actually moved roles here in the School of Business. I'm now the Director of Alumni Networks and Career Services. And so prior to this new title, I served as the Director of Career Services for our pre-experience master's programs. So our Master of Science in Management, Accountancy, and Business Analytics. I was responsible for making sure all of those students had access to all of the resources that Wake Forest has to offer, not just, when they're here in the building in Farrell Hall, but really when they're not in Farrell Hall. So it has a big component of making sure our online resources are just as robust as the resources that we have here in person in Farrell Hall, which means our alumni can only benefit from the work that I'm doing to elevate those resources. And that'll be a big part of what I'm charged with in this new role. And I'm super excited to work with more of our alumni as we all move through our professional development. So like I said, LinkedIn, right, is a super helpful tool. I am personally in LinkedIn every day, all day. It's when I open my computer up every day, it's automatically, a URL automatically comes up. It automatically logs me in. I'm constantly searching LinkedIn and interacting with the platform as much as I possibly can. I also use LinkedIn on the app on my phone. I find that when I'm in slices of my day where I may have a little downtime, perhaps like waiting for a meeting to start, or if you have doctor's appointments, you may be waiting in the lobby for a doctor's appointment to start, and you may have a few minutes to interact with the platform. The app allows you to do that just right here on this miniature computer that we carry around every day. And so the alumni engagement team asked me if I could present on LinkedIn, and I'm super excited to do it because it is a platform that I really enjoy working on. And so today I'm going to spend my time talking about the 3 important things to think about when you're using LinkedIn. And the number one thing that we'll spend the most time on is building a profile that works for you. Then I want to talk about some rules of engagement and some best practices, etiquette, if you will, of interacting with people on the platform, and then spend the last part of our session today talking about different ways that you can find jobs, filter, find people, and set alerts, so that what we really want to accomplish, right, is we want to have this platform work for us. Even when we're not interacting with the platform, if you are able to, if you're really able to elevate your presence on the platform's going to work for you. And so I always start out by, I get this question a lot, and that is, do I need to pay for the premium subscription to LinkedIn? And I say no, because, LinkedIn wants to commoditize, any and everything that they possibly can. But what's more important to LinkedIn than money is data. And so every time you like something, every time you post something, every time you connect with someone or send a message or join a group, you're giving LinkedIn very, very important information. And that's really more important to LinkedIn than money. Now, will the premium subscription make things a little bit easier for you to interact with people that maybe you're not connected with? Yes. So if you have the spare change laying around, by all means. But I'm going to give you some tips on how you can use the platform without paying for that premium subscription to do all of the things that you needed to do. All right. So I'm flying solo today, so I may not be able to pay as close attention to the chat. And I've got our group minimized, and so I may not see a raised hand feature. But I will have places where I'll pause and ask if you have questions. So I appreciate interacting with participants as much as I possibly can. So please ask questions as we move along. And I see something in the chat. Okay, Eva's talking about the premium subscription. And okay, we'll talk about some of those things in just a second, Eva. So let's get started. So number one, building a profile that works for you. So I'm going to talk about the 7 main sections of LinkedIn that you want to pay attention to. And then I'll spend the end of this section talking about some of the other sections that you might want to consider adding. But we're really going to focus on the first 3, the profile picture, the background picture, and your headline more than the others, and talk through ways that you can use the experience, education, and skills section that can help point people towards you in a more intentional way. And so let's jump into it. All right, so this is my landing page. And so I will say I'm going to ask everyone to connect with me on LinkedIn, but I want you to wait to the end of this presentation. So hold your connection request until we get to the end, because I'm going to show you a trick and a tip that's going to help you when connecting with people. And so this is my landing page. And so when you land on this page, this is on a computer, and this is mostly what you see on a phone as well. You see my profile picture, you see my background picture, and then you see my name and my headline, okay? And you really want your audience to know everything that you want them to know about you from what you put on this on this first part of the LinkedIn profile. So anything else that you learn about me, you have to scroll to get to, okay? So we want to really pay attention to this, and we'll start with the profile picture. You want your profile picture to be a headshot, and that is from your shoulders up, okay? Shoulders up. And you want that round space to be 90% of your head, okay? You want it to be well lit. You want the lighting to be really good. And you want it to be non-distracting, okay? And so if there's a really busy background, it may be distracting. If it's a really dark background and your photo's not lit really well, it may send some signals that maybe you aren't the friendliest person in the world to work with. So we want it to be well lit. We want it to be a headshot. And we want you to smile, okay? So hopefully when you see this picture of me, some of the things that come to mind are, this is a friendly person, and it looks like that she's someone who I might want to do business with. Maybe, but you need to control that narrative as much as you can. So our telephones take amazing photographs. This photograph that I've used here for my profile picture was taken by a colleague on a beautiful sunny day right here in Farrell Hall using an iPhone. So you don't need to spend a lot of money on getting a professional headshot there. And just make sure that those components are tightened up. Your background picture needs to be a photograph that best displays in an image your professional brand, right? Your personal brand. I hope everybody knows what this is a picture of. I like to play this game in other sessions where people guess what this is a picture of. But it's Farrell Hall, right? It's the fire pit in front of Farrell Hall. So most of the people that I interact with on LinkedIn are somehow associated with Wake Forest and especially the School of Business. So I want that to be a part of your experience interacting with me on the platform. I want you to know that I'm a part of the Wake Forest community and that it's a large part of what drives me every day to get up out of bed and to do this work, is that I get to come to this beautiful building and work with extremely smart people just like yourself. And so just Google it, right? And so you have, there's Google Images I wouldn't even want to guess how many images there are out there. But if you just start Googling some things like digital marketer in San Francisco and just select the image selection there on Google, you'll have just pages and pages of images to choose from. But you want it to be a really crisp, clear picture, and you want it to be of good quality. So really think about, what do I want the world of business and the world of work to know about who I am? I even have students and clients who use Canva. And if you've ever used that platform, Canva is like a graphic design platform for people who aren't graphic designers. And you can, there's actually banners, LinkedIn banners, as a template. And so there are so many different examples there on Canva that are completely free, but you can customize them as well to meet your needs. So you could even come up with your own like marketing logo or any type of image there that really tells the world who you are. The third section, and this is new, this is really new for LinkedIn, and this is your headline. And so if you haven't gone in and updated or customized your headline, LinkedIn is going to default your headline to be the title of your most recent job experience. And so if you're currently a director of market readiness and employment at the Wake Forest School of Business, and if I haven't customized my headline, then my headline is going to be Director of Market Readiness and Employment at Wake Forest University School of Business. And that, although that's a super cool title, I don't think it really describes who I am and what I have to offer the world of business. And so we want to be use your creative, your creative chops, and choose words, choose adjectives and nouns that really tell everyone exactly what you want them to know. So hopefully when you land on my profile, you see a friendly face, you see that I work at a university, and you see exactly what I do. And this headline in particular has generated a lot of business for me personally. So I have people all of the time ask me to help them write their resume. I've even been asked by corporates, by firms, to come in and do sessions with their employees on networking, because I consider myself a networking ninja. That one alone gets a lot of hits and a lot of impressions. So really use this to communicate exactly who you are. So you don't really have to scroll, right? You know exactly who I am from from this landing page. I'd also want to point out that the contact information that you have on LinkedIn is super important because, right, as you're out there interacting with the platform and you're connecting with people, when you're connected to someone on the first level, you're able to see their contact information. And so when you select contact information, there's an email address that's sitting there. So you want to make sure that that email address is one that you check regularly. You may have originally set up your profile when you were in school here. So you may have used a school email address that you no longer have access to or you no longer check. So make sure that your contact information that you set as public, you have the right to privatize that as well. But if it's on public, then you're sending the signal that you're open for people to connect with you, not only on LinkedIn, but you're opening yourself up to receiving an email from your network as well. But you need to make sure that the email address that's sitting there is an active one. All right, so I'm going to pause there. Any questions about profile picture, background picture, headline, or contact information? All right, going on.
Sharon, I have one.
Hi, Vera. Do you have a question?
Yeah, so I see that you use emojis.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I learned this in a master class that I took
Thank
on LinkedIn, and these are just aesthetically. I think they're aesthetically pleasing, but it's absolutely okay to use these emojis. You just want to use them very tactfully, and you don't want to overuse them. But it's another visual way to get someone's attention. And on your keyboard to get to these emojis, if you use the Windows button and the period, you should get the emoji keyboard. It should come up on a laptop. I'm not sure how to do it on a Mac, but that's how I do it on a laptop. It's the Windows button and the period.
Okay. Thank you for that tip too. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think I like to think of myself as creative. And so it's just another way visually that I can communicate my value and use my creativity a little bit. All right. For those
Yes.
of you who are in a job search, if you are non-employed and you are actively looking for work, I 100% advise you to turn on your open to work banner. Okay. And you do that by selecting this I am button here over on the left side, right underneath your contact information. Once you hit that button and you hit the I am selection there, it says, I am looking for work or I'm able to hire. So if you're currently looking for a job, LinkedIn's then going to ask you some specific questions like what kind of titles are you looking for? What kind of locations are you looking in? Are you an entry level hire or an experienced hire? Are you looking in a certain industry or is there a certain function that you're looking for? Okay. And so the better, right, that you can enter that criteria, again, the more specialized LinkedIn can be when it's sending you people to connect with and jobs that LinkedIn thinks that you should be interested in. LinkedIn has this really great feature called it's a product actually from LinkedIn, and it's LinkedIn Recruiter Solutions. So companies can pay just like you and I pay for that premium subscription level on LinkedIn. Companies can pay for recruiters to have this LinkedIn Recruiter Solutions add-on, if you will. And recruiters then use that tool to search for candidates that have this banner open on their profile. Okay. So if you're currently employed and you don't want the world to know that you're looking for work, you have the option to just select recruiters only. Okay. So if you select recruiters only, this is a screenshot, so I actually can't select this right now. Then only recruiters with that LinkedIn recruiter selection solutions add-on will know that you're open to work. If you don't care and you need everyone to know that you're open for work, you'll want to select this all LinkedIn members here. And when you select that, then the green banner goes on and everyone on the network will know that you're open for work. Any questions about that? If you're in a position where you can hire people, or your team is currently, or your company or team is currently hiring people, then back over here under this I am, you can select hiring people, and a purple banner then goes around your profile picture and it says that you are hiring. Again, a really helpful tool for job seekers to interact with people who they know are hiring. And so this is a new feature for LinkedIn and one that I am a big fan of. Okay, the next section that I want to talk about is the About section. And I will tell you that LinkedIn is, like I said, they are really focused on data. And so they want the people that are on the platform, they have this thing called all-star status, right? If you have completed all of these, there's a checklist involved. I don't know exactly what's on the checklist, but if you have all of these things, if you have a profile picture, if you have an about section, if you have recommendations, and you have a job and skills, then you get to this all-star status. So if you don't have anything in the about section, you'll never get to all-star status. I will say that not a lot of people read the about section, so I would keep it really, really short, very high level. And then again, I've used these emojis, right? The emoji keyboard, and I've used keywords that say what I specialize in, what what my expertise is in, and what I'm really great at. All right. So by all means, you should use my about section as a good template. So you can put hard skills, soft skills, you can put functions, industries, you can put all kinds of really interesting things in here, because recruiters and other people who are sorting and filtering off of keywords, this is a great place to embed keywords so that people can find you. All right, so you need to have an about section. You don't need to have it be really dense with a lot of content, and use it to embed keywords about things that you're really good at, and the skills and unique experiences that you have to offer the world of work. Okay, before I get into experience, I want to talk about the skills section for just a minute, because LinkedIn has a very large library of skills. Like it feels like it's never ending. LinkedIn allows you to attach 50 skills to your profile. And you may be thinking, I don't think I have 50 skills, but they're hard skills and they're soft skills, or power skills that I call them. And so all of the master classes that I've been to have said that you need to utilize the skills section and really think about all of the skills that you can attach to your profile. It's things like collaboration, communication skills, critical thinking skills, problem solving skills, analytical skills. And those are the softer or the more power skills. And then you move over right to technical skills. We all should be really good at Microsoft Office Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, right? That Microsoft Office suite, Google Suite, CMRs, like customer management systems like Salesforce. Any of you have any kind of marketing background, you may know search engine optimizations, and so all of those are really important skills. So you need to go through them, and you need to attach them to your profile. And I challenge you all to get to 50. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. So then when you're in experience and you're entering your experience, you can attach those skills that are associated with your profile to each one of these jobs. Okay. And so when I'm updating my director of market readiness and employment, when I hit this edit button here, the pencil, and I can make changes to the content. And if when you scroll down, you'll see skills, and then you can attach those skills to each one of those experiences. So then when we're back into landing on someone's page, and if you're lucky enough for someone to scroll right to your experience, you don't see, if you have a lot of bullets listed there, you don't see all of those bullets. You just see just a little snapshot, and then you have that ... more, where somebody has to click again to see more, but you can always see those skills. So this is a very direct way to attach yourself as a subject matter expert in different skills, and that you want, right, any type of recruiter or hiring manager to know about you without having to click or scroll anymore. Okay. But to that point, these bullets, or what's underneath each one of your experiences, is not your entire resume. You really want to pick 2 or 3 bullets that really highlight what you've accomplished, right? So not necessarily what you do, but what have you accomplished? And those all need to be driven by and supported by as much data. So as many dollar signs, percentages, and numbers as you can possibly highlight there in like the first 4 or 5 lines of your experience. Any questions about experience? "11 years, 7 months. It keeps me honest. Almost 12 years with Wake Forest." Okay, so under education, this one can get a little complicated, and it really doesn't need to be complicated. And so when you are entering your education on LinkedIn, we want everybody to use the main Wake Forest University as a default. Okay, and so this main Wake Forest University selection that you have when you're entering your education, right? It needs, if you did your undergrad at Wake Forest, right, in business, then we still want you to use the Wake Forest University education instead of the Wake Forest University School of Business. And here's why. When you are in LinkedIn and you're trying to find someone, and you want to, we're going to go and look in just a second to see how you find alumni. There are 52,839 alumni that are sitting in this pool, this Wake Forest University. If you were to go to the Wake Forest University School of Business and look at those alumni, there's only 9,595. So you may not be right in both of these pools of people. Okay, so the default is always to use Wake Forest University. If you're lucky enough to have 2 degrees from Wake Forest University, then your undergrad would be Wake Forest University, and your grad experience would be Wake Forest University School of Business. We're going to look at how you find people in just a minute. And so you want to always think, have I looked in the broader Wake Forest University bucket? And have I looked in the specific Wake Forest University School of Business bucket? Does that make sense? All right, awesome. And so those are the most important sections that you need to put a lot of time and resources in. But there are some other really I think, fantastic ways that you can add to the breadth and depth of your experience. And that's adding additional profile sections. And you do that back on your landing page under your profile. If you select add a profile section, you can add a volunteer section. You can add a section on courses, certifications. You can also add recommendations and interest. It really is a really good list of other kind of auxiliary sections that you can add. I would also preface that in saying that less is more. Okay, because people aren't going to spend, even more than 1 minute scrolling through your LinkedIn profile. So I wouldn't invest a whole lot of time in acclimating those sections and really focus on those first 7 that I talked about. But again, it's another way that you can add keywords. Any questions? Recommendations are important. You need at least one recommendation to get to all-star status. And Renee, if you could go on mute on your iPhone, it would be so helpful. I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, recommendations. And so recommendations are important and you need them to go to all-stars to get to all-star status. But again, you're not going to ask someone for a recommendation that is not going to be really glowing. And so my advice is always to have at least one recommendation. If you're lucky enough to get more than one of those, then that's only going to it's only going to help, but people most of the time don't read them. Okay. So any questions about your profile before we go on? I think there's a chat. Let me check the chat. Oh, no problem. You're good. Thanks, Renee. All right. So now I want to spend a little time of talking about some do's and don'ts of networking on LinkedIn. And so, it's just amazing. I'm a networking ninja guy, so I get really excited anytime I can network with anyone in person or on this platform. You can find these people in all kinds of different places, right? You can connect with colleagues on LinkedIn. You can connect with clients, with classmates. Anytime you go to a conference, or if you're in a club, if you're in the PTA, or you're in the Rotary Club, or if you're in, any church group, find people on LinkedIn that you know. And I think it's also okay to connect with people that you want to know. Okay. So I'm a career coach in the School of Business, and it's my business, it's my job really to know where all the jobs are and where are our alumni and how can we use our alumni to enrich the student experience, right? How can the alumni network and the students come together? And so I'm constantly coming across alumni that I've never met before, never met, but I want to know them. I want to know them because it's going to help me do my job really a lot better. And so don't be afraid to reach out to people and connect with them and tell them why, right? So it's real. So this is my pro tip of the day, right? And that is the correct way to connect with people. So I'm going to jump over, hopefully the technology is not going to fail me. We're going to jump over to my LinkedIn and we're going to find some alumni. Does that sounds like fun to me? I hope it sounds like fun to you guys. All right. So I've got 5 messages. Wow. Since I started this webinar. But we want to go over here and we want to search. This is how you find alumni. And the very first selection that I have is Wake Forest University, School US. This is the one where we find those 59,000 alums, right? So when I'm on the Wake Forest University landing page, I want to select this alumni selection here. and it's going to think for a minute. I've got 52,840 alum. LinkedIn tells me where they work. Okay. Probably the top, what do you say, 20? Top 20 places they work. The top 20 places where they live. Isn't this interesting, right? Greensboro, Winston-Salem, High Point has the largest number of alumni on LinkedIn. I think that's so fascinating. But it tells us the top 20 cities and states that our alumni live in. And it also tells us what they do, like what kind of jobs they have. It tells us what they're skilled at, what they studied while they were at Wake Forest, and how we're connected. Okay. And so when we're back over here as to where they work, I saw that someone was calling from Philadelphia, right? Or somebody dialed in from Philadelphia. Philadelphia it actually isn't one of our top 20 cities that have our alumni, but you can come over here and you can add to that, right? And so we're gonna come over and we're gonna hit add, and we're gonna say Philadelphia. It should come right up, Philadelphia. And so we have 357 alum that live in Philadelphia, and it shows us here where they work. And let's just say that you have identified, let's say Comcast is a place that you really want to work. So you just select Comcast, and as you scroll down, you can see here are all their profiles, right? And I would tell you that if Comcast is a place that you really want to work in Philadelphia, then I would encourage you to connect with as many alums that you possibly can that work there. So I would want you to connect with Anna. And here's the pro tip. We want to always add a note. Try to get into the habit of always adding a note. It does two things. Number one, your request is 95% more likely to be accepted if you add a note. Number one. Number two, it allows you a very succinct and direct way to tell them how you're connected and why you want to be connected. So it doesn't have to be a long dissertation. It just needs to be, I'm currently in the job search. I'm a fellow Wake alum. I see that you work at Comcast. I'd love to learn more about your experience there, right? So you get 300 characters in here to kind of give your pitch as to identifying the way that you're connected and telling them exactly what you want to get from being connected with them. Okay. And then you'll want to hit send. And hopefully Anna will accept your invitation and invite you for coffee, and you can learn all about what it's like to be a product manager at Comcast. Okay. So we want to always add a note. So, so again, you can slice and dice this stuff any way you can. You can get lost in Never Never Land on trying to find specific alumni that work in specific industries, that live in specific areas. You can even drill this thing down to, I was a psychology major. I want to talk to more psychology majors that work for consulting firms. Again, it's really powerful and really super helpful to find alumni that way. So you can also choose Wake Forest School of Business. Now see, it's all the way down here. And when I choose this school, my pool is drastically reduced to 9,645 alums. But again, you can still slice and dice this. 1,800 here in the triad. And this is where they work. This is where they work. When you scroll down, you have access right to their profiles. You're going to see a lot of students in that bucket. All right. Any questions about how to find alumni on LinkedIn? There's a lot of different ways, but that's my favorite way. All right, let's go back to this. Can everybody now see? Are we back to my PowerPoint? Thumbs up. Yes, hopefully somebody will stop me. Okay, all right, so again, I'm leaving a slide here, and everyone who participates in this webinar will get these slides, but this is just another way to show you the proper etiquette on how to connect with people on LinkedIn. And so second pro tip of the day is to be active. You want to engage your network. You want to engage in the platform. And again, it doesn't have to be hours. It can actually be minutes. Just spend a few minutes every day. And the easiest way, right? Just to, you don't even need to click it. If you're on your phone, you just need to press it, right? Liking things, super helpful. Sharing things with your network as you come across different articles, if you come across different jobs, if you come across someone who's been promoted, share that, right? And comment on those things. And every time you like, comment, and share, then you're just adding to your bank, I guess you can say, of ways then that LinkedIn is going to start to work for you. If you use a post in your status to communicate, any kind of new credentials you have, a new job that you have, if you've written a blog, you can publish blogs on LinkedIn. You can really start to be considered a super user and an expert, right, in your field. And so always look for ways to interact with the platform. And then that feed, right, that you look at, everyone's profile status. When you're connected with me, you'll see everything that I like. You'll see everything that I share. You'll see my activity, and hopefully that will maybe spark some information or give you some knowledge that's going to help you in whatever you do. Another tip is to follow companies, right? And so the more companies you follow, and it's real easy to follow a company, you just find the company and hit the follow button. It's that easy. But when you do that, you will see all of the things that company, anytime they're mentioned on LinkedIn, anytime there's a new employee, anytime there's a job, then LinkedIn's going to push that information to you. So if you don't follow these companies, LinkedIn doesn't know to push this content to you. And so the more companies that you can follow, the better. I would follow influencers. I would connect with people. So LinkedIn now wants you to follow people. You can follow me and you can see the things that I'm talking about, but you still don't have access to send me a message, right? A direct message. So we need to be connected before you can send me a message. So I would say follow companies and influencers like people like Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, like follow them, but you want to connect with people like myself or recruiters or hiring managers or other alums. You want to make sure you're connecting with them. Then again, we're going to jump over and we're going to look at the job feature on LinkedIn. Another one I love a lot. And so, of course, pretty simple, right, to go to this jobs tab. And you start off the search, right, by putting something in the search bar, and then Winston-Salem, okay? And then we can come in, as soon as you make it over to this jobs portal, you can then start to search with all filters. And so you can search by company, you can search by location, you can search off of keywords, you can search off of a lot of different things. And the better you are at filtering, of course, the better this platform is going to work for you. And so another, I think, helpful feature on LinkedIn is the ability to set alerts. And so if I am looking for a digital marketing manager job in Winston-Salem, right? It's done this work for me. Let's say it's mid-level, right? There's 30 jobs sitting on LinkedIn that fall into that category. If I set this alert, then every day LinkedIn is going to send me a repository of all the jobs that fall into that category and then some, right? So you may have only been searching for either hybrid or in-person jobs, and LinkedIn will think and it will know, right, and start to do some work for you to say, you might want to consider some of these remote jobs as well. And so whatever email address that you have, right, and your contact information, that's the email that LinkedIn is going to send these daily reports to. And so you can set as many alerts as you want, but I would be very careful because I've done this before and it just fills my inbox, my actual Google inbox, right, full of these alerts. And then it starts to feel a little noisy for me. And so I probably miss a lot of jobs that are sitting in that email because I've got too many alerts set. So just be very careful in how many alerts that you set for yourself. Another really helpful way to search people and jobs and people, like at Wake Forest who work for certain companies is to search your network. So if you choose My Network and Connections, come on, and search with filters, and then one more click to search all filters. You have to do so many clicking. If I want to know everybody I'm connected to on a first level that works for a certain company, I can do that. But I think there's even more power in finding people that I might not know that work for a certain company. So I want to choose a second connection there. And if I come up and say that I always go to school next, I want to see Wake Forest University and Wake Forest School of Business, right? People who went to school here. And let's say that I want to know anybody who works for Google. Show results. Ta-da, here it is. It's people who are currently working for Google. It's telling me anybody who currently works for Google who either went to Wake Forest University or the Wake Forest School of Business. And it's, super easy. You want to connect and always add a note. So you can get lost into this filtering and go down a rabbit hole. And before you know it, 4 hours have passed and you've connected with some really, really helpful people, because I know this for a fact that the Wake Forest network is super fierce and they are so willing to help people. You just have to get their attention. And if you can get their attention, the only other obstacle is their time. They may just not have the bandwidth to help you, but if they do, they will always be super helpful. All right, almost done. Here, again, I've left some helpful screenshots there to remind you on how to do this stuff. And so if you are currently in a job and you don't want your network to know that you're in LinkedIn and that you're doing a lot of updating and refining and engaging with the platform because you're on the secret job search, every time that you go to update your experience, your education, your skills, there's one other section. You can notify your network that you're making these changes, or you can turn that notification off. Okay, so it's just a slide button here of turn this off if you don't want LinkedIn to say, oh, Sharon Vogler has a new job at Wake Forest University. I want my whole network to know that, right? But if I don't, I just need to turn that feature off. Okay. So key takeaways. We want to update your profile to best represent your professional brand. And we're going to do that by using a really great profile picture, an intentional background picture that really communicates your personal and professional brand. You want to grow your network and connect with people. And you want to follow firms, clients, companies, competitors, so that every time you look at the platform and you scroll through your feed, you're learning something. This continuous, right, lifelong learner. LinkedIn is an excellent resource to be able to feed you really helpful information about the world of business and your specific niche in the world of business. And then lastly, be active, like, comment, share, and connect. Like, always be connecting, the ABC, right? Always be connecting. And this platform will really start to be a really powerful resource for you. It'll start feeding you people it thinks you should know. It will start feeding you jobs it thinks that you should be interested in. And on the back side of it, it'll start feeding your profile to people who LinkedIn thinks that that they think should know you, right? So recruiters, hiring managers, other people in the space, right? That are also active. LinkedIn's doing that work on the background for you, but it won't do it unless you give it the right information and constantly stay active on the platform. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope you've learned, even if you just take one nugget away from this session, it's been worth my time to spend with you today. I invite you all now to connect with me on LinkedIn. Be sure that you add a note. I'd particularly love to hear the you know, something that you took away from this session. And I look really forward to interacting with you all in my new role as Director of Alumni Networks and Career Services.